In the bustling streets of Lagos, where dreams often dance with danger, a young woman named Chioma lived. Chioma was the kind of woman who turned heads wherever she went. Her flawless ebony skin, bright eyes, and kind smile made her unforgettable. But it wasn't just her beauty that caught attention, she had ambition. At 30, she had a big and thriving boutique in Lagos. Chioma's life wasn't just about work. She had Ada, her best friend, who was her rock. They had been inseparable since their university days, sharing everything: secrets, fears, dreams, and even their love for fashion. Ada was the one person Chioma trusted wholeheartedly, the one who understood her better than anyone else. They had their own language, inside jokes, and a bond so deep that no one could ever break it. One sunny morning, Chioma's life took a sharp turn. She was loading her goods onto a van when she met Emeka. He was tall, charming, and had the kind of confidence that made people trust him instantly. Emeka introduced himself as a businessman who dealt in electronics. His smooth voice and expensive clothes made Chioma's heart flutter. "A beautiful woman like you must have a man who takes care of her," he said, flashing a smile that revealed perfect white teeth. Chioma laughed nervously. "I'm not looking for anyone right now. I'm too busy building my business." But Emeka was persistent. Every day, he visited Chioma's boutique, often buying items he didn't even need, just for the chance to see her. His charming words were carefully chosen, and his actions spoke of a man deeply interested. Emeka would talk about his dreams, his supposed wealth, and how he admired Chioma's independence and ambition. He told her he wanted a strong woman by his side, someone who shared his vision for the future. At first, Chioma resisted. She wasn't the type to fall for sweet talk easily, and she valued her independence above all else. But Emeka's relentless efforts began to wear down her defenses. Eventually, she gave in, convincing herself that he was sincere. She believed she had found the perfect partner, a man who understood her drive and wanted to share in her journey to success. Despite his apparent devotion, Chioma couldn't shake a lingering doubt. Something about Emeka's words and actions felt too good to be true, as though he was performing a role rather than being genuine. Whenever she tried to voice her concerns, Emeka would counter with the perfect explanation, leaving her both reassured and unsettled. Her best friend and confidant, Ada, always had an opinion. "Chioma, you finally found a man who appreciates you. Don't overthink it," Ada would say, her tone firm and confident. Ada's unwavering support was a source of comfort for Chioma, and she often leaned on her friend for guidance. "Do you think I'm being too critical?" Chioma asked one evening. Ada waved off her concerns with a laugh. "Of course you are. Give the man a chance. Not every man is out to hurt you." Trusting Ada's judgment, Chioma silenced her doubts and allowed herself to believe Emeka might be everything she hoped for. Yet, deep down, the nagging feeling refused to fade. At first, their relationship was like something out of a dream. Emeka swept Chioma off her feet with his charm and attention. He took her to fancy restaurants where they dined on exotic dishes and sipped fine wine. He introduced her to various places, including his friends and family, who warmly welcomed her and seemed to genuinely adore her. On her birthday, Emeka surprised her with an expensive wristwatch that sparkled like diamonds. Chioma couldn't believe her luck. "You've hit the jackpot, Chioma," her best friend, Ada, exclaimed one evening. "Men like Emeka are rare." Chioma basked in the admiration of her friends. To her, Emeka seemed perfect. But not everyone was convinced. Her older brother, Chike, wasn't as easily swayed. "Be careful," he warned. "A man who talks too much about his wealth is often hiding something." Chioma waved off his concerns. Emeka's kindness and affection felt genuine. Why would someone fake all of that? To her, he was the real deal. Yet, as time went on, a question began to nag at her mind: why had he never taken her to his home? They always met at restaurants or hotels, and when she brought it up, he skillfully changed the subject. One evening, she decided to press him further. "Emeka, why don't you ever invite me to your house? I want to see where you live." Emeka paused for a moment before breaking into a warm smile. "Of course, Chioma. I've been meaning to show you. The truth is, my house is still under construction. It's not ready yet, which is why we've been meeting in other places. But I'll take you there." Curious and excited, Chioma agreed. When they arrived, she saw an uncompleted building standing in the middle of a dusty plot. The walls were half finished, the windows were mere gaps, and piles of bricks and cement bags littered the ground. "This is it," Emeka said proudly. "It's a work in progress, but it's going to be amazing once it's done. I've poured my savings into this." Chioma's heart swelled with admiration. "I'm proud of you, Emeka. You're a man with vision." Her doubts melted away as she saw his determination. To her, this was proof of his ambition and dreams for their future. Months passed, and cracks began to show in Chioma and Emeka's relationship. Despite the initial charm and chemistry, unsettling incidents began to surface. Anytime they went out for a meal or a casual outing, they often ran into women who would approach Emeka with familiarity. One evening, at a cozy restaurant near the city center, a slender woman with striking red lipstick approached their table. Her face lit up with recognition. "James, is that you?" she exclaimed, her voice filled with surprise. Chioma's brow furrowed. Emeka immediately denied knowing her. "I think you've got the wrong person," he said, laughing nervously. The woman looked puzzled but walked away muttering something under her breath. Chioma decided to shrug it off. After all, mistaken identities happened all the time. But the pattern repeated itself. Another time, at a bustling cafe, a petite woman with curly hair stormed up to their table. "Connor, I knew I'd find you here," she said accusingly. This time, her tone was less friendly and more confrontational. "After ghosting me for months, you have the guts to sit here with another woman." Emeka's expression hardened. "I don't know what you're talking about," he snapped. "You must have mistaken me for someone else." Chioma's discomfort grew, but she told herself to trust him. None of these women called him by his real name, so perhaps there was some misunderstanding. When they got home, Chioma tried to bring up the incidents. "Why do these women keep approaching you? And why do they seem so angry?" she asked, her voice trembling. Emeka sighed dramatically. "Babe, I've told you. I have no idea who these women are. People love to create drama." He held her hands, his voice softening. "You know me. Don't let strangers ruin what we have." Emeka's attentiveness toward Chioma seemed to deepen with every passing day. He called her frequently, asking about her well-being, her business, and even the weather, as though her every movement was his concern. He brought her lavish lunches to her boutique, sometimes delicacies from high-end restaurants, other times homemade meals he claimed to have prepared himself. He showered her with affectionate words, often surprising her with little gifts, a bottle of her favorite perfume, a silk scarf, or a bouquet of roses. Chioma began to feel the walls of doubt she had built around her heart slowly crumble. One evening, as they dined at an upscale restaurant overlooking the city, Emeka reached across the table and took her hand in his. His face was a picture of vulnerability, a stark contrast to the confident man she had come to admire. "Chioma," he began hesitantly, his voice thick with emotion, "there's something I need to tell you." Her heart skipped a beat. His tone was serious, almost grave. She set her glass down, her full attention now on him. "I've been facing some financial challenges," he admitted, lowering his gaze. I have two 40-foot containers of electronics sitting at the port. They are worth a fortune, but I can't afford the duties to clear them because I have invested much money in my building project. Without them, my business is at a standstill. I've exhausted all my options, and you're the only one I can trust. Chioma's chest tightened at his plea. She saw the struggle in his eyes, the weight of a man burdened by circumstances. How much do you need? She asked softly, her resolve firm despite her nervousness. 30 million naira, he said, almost whispering. I promise, as soon as I sell the goods, I'll repay you every kobo. Moved by his vulnerability and the trust she felt in their relationship, Chioma agreed. She handed over her boutique savings, money she had intended to use for restocking. She reassured herself that it was temporary, that love and trust required sacrifices. But the next morning, Emeka didn't call. His phone was switched off, and every attempt to reach him was futile. Panic set in as the hours stretched into the afternoon. Desperate, she went to the hotel where he had been staying, only to learn he had checked out the previous night. Chioma returned home in shock, her heart heavy with betrayal. When she confided in her best friend, Ada, the latter hugged her tightly and stayed by her side, offering words of comfort and encouragement. You'll heal, Chioma, Ada whispered. This pain won't last forever. But Chioma couldn't shake the feeling that her trust had been shattered in the cruelest way. Determined to uncover the truth, Chioma set out to investigate Emeka's claims. She started with the uncompleted building he had proudly shown her as their future home. When she arrived, her stomach churned with unease. A caretaker who happened to be on the premises dismissed her inquiries with a curt laugh. This building, it belongs to Chief Ikena, he said matter-of-factly. I've never heard of any Emeka. Shocked, Chioma pressed further and discovered that even the relatives Emeka had introduced her to, whom she had greeted with respect and trust, were imposters. It felt as though the ground beneath her had vanished. Defeated and humiliated, Chioma returned home and confided in Ada, her closest friend and confidant. As always, Ada comforted her with soothing words, encouraging her to let go and move on. But Chioma's mind was restless. Something didn't sit right. One evening, as they sat in Chioma's living room chatting over a bottle of juice, Ada excused herself to use the restroom. Chioma, still feeling unsettled, leaned back on the couch, her thoughts swirling. Just then, Ada's phone, which lay on the table, buzzed with a message notification. The screen lit up, and Chioma's eyes inadvertently caught the sender's name, Emeka. Her heart skipped a beat. The preview of the message read, "The money I sent you is the agreed 50% of what I got from Chioma." Chioma's breath hitched. The room seemed to spin as the realization hit her like a thunderclap. Ada had been part of the betrayal. Her so-called best friend had conspired with Emeka to rob her. Tears stung her eyes, but anger quickly replaced her heartbreak. Without hesitating, Chioma picked up her phone and called the police. She explained the situation in a trembling but determined voice. Minutes later, the wail of sirens shattered the evening calm. By the time Ada returned from the restroom, she was greeted by uniformed officers. Confusion flashed across her face, quickly replaced by guilt when Chioma confronted her with the damning message. "You betrayed me," Chioma said, her voice quivering with emotion. "I trusted you, Ada. How could you?" Ada stammered, trying to deny the accusations, but the officers were already placing her in handcuffs. As she was led away, Chioma felt a mix of pain and triumph. She had lost so much, but she vowed to rebuild her life, this time, wiser and more guarded. Under intense police interrogation, Ada broke down and confessed everything. She revealed how Emeka had orchestrated the entire scheme, using charm and lies to gain Chioma's trust while Ada played the role of the supportive best friend. Their plan had been to exploit Chioma's kindness and rob her of her hard-earned money. With Ada's confession, The police were able to track down Emeka, who was arrested shortly after. The betrayal cut Chioma deeply, leaving scars that felt unbearable at first. Yet, as she reflected on the events, she realized that this painful chapter was a lesson in trust and discernment. She had placed her faith in the wrong people, but she wouldn't let it define her future. Standing at the ruins of what once seemed like a promising relationship, Chioma vowed to rebuild her life. She resolved to rise above the pain, emerging stronger, wiser, and more determined to protect her heart and her dreams.
Thank you for watching. Tell us your opinion in the comments section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel Chukwudi Alalar Studio at Chukwudi Alalar.
Like and subscribe.